Hello and welcome to another episode of It Came From the Page. And yeah, I can't believe it. We are almost at December, and as such, I wanted to share what Christmassy movies I will be watching for the month of December. If you're wondering why this particular video exists, especially since I said I wasn't going to be talking as much about movies anymore, well, for one reason and one reason only. Kelsey from Slime and Slashers. I even have a mug that is Kelsey saying, "Bitch, yes, bitch." So here's my new mug, which is actually merch for the Christmas Evil Read-A-Thon. She's putting on this wonderful Read-A-Thon. And even though these videos don't get many views, she said, "I love hearing you talk about movies." So if you're going to go through all the effort of making a Read-A-Thon, the least I can do is buy your merch and tell you what kind of fun Christmassy movies I'm going to be watching all throughout December. So first off, going to open this with like a little bit of a mini review because I went out and I bought this book from Amazon. It's the only way I could find it. Gift Wrapped and Gutted, the trashiest Christmas horror films trashiest Christmas horror movies ever made by Richard Mogg. And I had heard of his other book, which is Analog Nightmares, which is all about shot on video movies. And I've been meaning to pick that up for a while. I still actually haven't, but this is a pretty good book, I would say, overall. One, just be aware, this is there's no color photos in this. There's tons of photos in here, but they're not color photos, so it is clearly one of those like printed on demand type books in that regard. There is a little bit of editing errors in the book. Every once in a while you catch a word and you're like, someone should have just done another pass on this as far as editing goes. But for the most part, I am quite a big fan of this book, mainly because it introduced me to a lot of movies I'm going to be talking about today, actually, and expanded the retinue of Christmas horror. So it's definitely worth a buy if you're interested in Christmas horror movies. Just kind of be aware, I still have about 100 pages left of the movies, and that 100 pages is all about movies after 2015. So yeah, there is a lot of movies post-2000s in here, which is like not my favorite era of fun, trashy, shot-on-video horror movies. Like, I just can't get into the sci-fi and super low-budget filmed on a camera without any lens kind of horror. And, there's a good, 150 pages that are only on movies like that. So just be aware when you're going into this that they're not all going to be movies you might want to actually watch. But the earliest sections, where it details the rise of Christmas horror and all the stuff in the 80s and 90s, super duper interesting, and added a lot of stuff to my to watch list. So without further ado, that's a mini review. If you're interested in Christmas horror movies or any of the stuff I'm going to be talking about today, chances are it appeared in that book. So first off, the Christmas Evil Read-A-Thon is hosting 2 movie nights for both Black Christmas and Christmas Evil. I will be attending both of those, and I am very much looking forward to those. Both of those are on my list anyways to watch. Those are movies I watch every Christmas season, and they are like the best of the best in terms of Christmas horror movies, aside from some other stuff we're going to be talking about. But as far as just plain no extra added genres, just Christmas and horror, they're some of the best. So I'm very excited to watch that with the crew, and I believe they're streaming those on Discord, and the dates will be there. And I will also have a link to the Christmas Evil Discord if you're interested in watching along with us for those. The rest of the movies I'm watching are just going to be on my own dalliance into Christmas horror and madness. Some of these are going to be so bad, but let's just get into it. First off, a movie I have seen before, but it's now more charming because I live in an area where it was filmed, and this is Another Wolf Cop, which is the sequel to the movie Wolf Cop. I rewatched the movie Wolf Cop this month in preparation to watch the sequel. The sequel is a Christmas horror movie. A bunch of the stuff takes place on Christmas, and while the first Wolf Cop, not a great movie by any means, it is fun. I do think it's a fun movie. And also, I think it's more fun for me to watch now that I live in the city where most of it was shot. Like at one point, they go to a library, and I'm like, I've been to a library plenty of times before. I know exactly where that library is. So it was fun in that regard. So I'm looking forward to watching and rewatching Another Wolf Cop, which I have not seen since it got released back in the day. I don't remember how much Christmassy stuff is in here, but it is Christmas horror. I do know that. Next up is Advent Calendar, which is a Shudder original film. I heard interesting things about this last year. I meant to pick it up, never got to it. So this is me just kind of cleaning up movies that I meant to be watching last year. Really looking forward to this. It is supposed to be quite good. Next up, I am doing it. I'm finally doing it. I have the Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 film pack. I've seen these ones plenty of times. I have never delved and gone into the post Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 landscape of these series, which is 3, 4, 5, and the remake, which is just titled Silent Night. I feel like I've been avoiding going into those movies for so long that it's time to just rip off the bullet and just watch them. They're all on Tubi if you're interested in torturing yourself with me. And they're supposed to be wild and terrible. So I will be inflicting myself on those. Next up, another movie which will be almost assuredly terrible, which is Elves. Elves. Another movie I've been avoided watching for, it feels like 10 years now. Like, this movie sits on YouTube for free, and nobody cares about it, so no one's ever taken it down. And it's been on my to-watch list forever, and I know it's bad. I know it's going to be bad. Basically, it's just a bunch of Nazi elves, and some terrible stuff happens, and they all have terrible rubber costumes, so, I mean, I'll watch it. Next up, to make myself not be totally miserable, I am, of course, going to watch one of the greatest films ever made, The Muppets Christmas Carol. Absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time. I love The Muppets. They make me so happy. So I need a palate cleanser after watching those movies that are assuredly shitty. I guarantee the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise and Elves are going to maybe drive me insane. So next up, another movie which probably is going to be pretty bad is Home for the Holidays. Don't know a whole lot about this one, but hilariously enough, the only reason it's even on my radar is because in Stephen King's Roadwork, a book that I do not like, very bad, not a good Stephen King book by any stretch of the imagination, at one point, one of the characters is watching Home for the Holidays, and I was like, I've never heard of this. I'm going to add it to my watch list. So yeah, it's like a Christmas-y slasher, but I believe it's a TV movie, so it probably won't be too violent, but kind of like a whodunit. Poster looks cool. We'll see. And thank you, Roadwork, for giving me at least one interesting thing. Next up, another one that's just going to be shite. Don't Open Till Christmas. Just a bunch of Santas get murdered. It's supposed to be like absolutely trash. Oh, God. Next movie is Christmas, Bloody Christmas, which is coming out on Shudder. And this is directed by Joe Begos, and I do quite like Joe Begos' other films. They are always entertaining to watch, and I hope that this one is similarly fun. It's basically like an animatronic Santa Claus that comes to life and starts killing people, and seems like kind of, easy breezy, fun Christmas fare. So I'm quite looking forward to that. And then we have To All a Good Night, which is another early horror slasher film directed by David Hess. David Hess is mostly known for doing very bad things in The Last House on the Left and a few other movies. I don't know how he's going to be behind the camera because he is certainly terrifying in front of it. So we will see. Don't have too high expectations for this. I believe it's like a sorority set slasher. Oh God, I don't know what I'm doing to myself. These are going to be bad. Now we are getting to things that are like palate cleansers for me. Starting off with what I'm going to be calling um, the first of my movie and novelization pairings, and that is The Thing. I'm hoping to rewatch The Thing, which is one of the best movies of all time, and read the Alan Dean Foster novelization. So that will be fun. Next up, I'm just going to go through all of my movie and movie novelization pairings. Jaws the Revenge, and of course the absolutely bonkers. I've heard this one is one of the craziest novelizations of all time and absolutely rocks. Shock POVs, voodoo curses, it's all great. And you might be wondering, Jaws the Revenge, is that a Christmas movie? And yes, it does kind of go into New Year's as well, but it is very much set during the Christmas season, and I am very much looking forward to that. I like that movie quite a bit. It's not a great movie by any means, but it is very fun. So I do quite like Jaws the Revenge, and I've never read the novelization, and I saved it to read during December, so I'm excited. Another pairing, I'm going to rewatch A Nightmare Before Christmas, and then I'm going to read the sequel book, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. I don't know if this has anything to do with Christmas, the book. Probably not. It's because it's doesn't seem to be. But regardless, I always want to watch A Nightmare Before Christmas in this season, and I never do. I keep postponing it. I never watch it. So I'm like, oh, I need to watch it. So I was like, oh, cool, the new book is out. So I got that from the library, and I will have a feature of watching the movie and then reading the book. So that will be fun. And last, but certainly not least of those pairings, is Gremlins, another one of my favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love Gremlins and the novelization. I've never actually read the novelizations for Gremlins. I know Michelle from Michelle's Melancholia is doing the novelization for Christmas Evil Read-A-Thon, so that will be fun. There's a whole bunch of others that I could have done for this actually, because I own both Batman Returns and Batman Returns the novelization, which are another Christmas movie duology, but I don't. I'm good. I don't need to put too much on this list, so I left that one off. Next up is a movie that I watched when it came out, and I really liked it, but I haven't seen it since, and this is Better Watch Out. I really liked this when I first saw it, which is basically kind of like a Home Alone-esque story, but what if the kid is the villain, essentially. There's a bit more to it than that, but just a blanket statement. It's fun. It was a fun, if I remember right. I think it was made in like Australia, so like there's a lot of weird production design in this. I remember like doors being abnormally shaped to what I'm used to, and just some weird construction stuff in this movie. So I'll be interested to rewatch it and see what I think about it when I experience it again. Next up, now we're just going into the goofiness. This is Elfa's Magical Christmas, which is the Power Rangers Christmas special that was released only to VHS. I don't know how much actual Power Rangers footage it has in it. I believe it's just Elfa being like, "Aye, aye, aye, Zordon washes me to wish you a Merry Christmas." And I think that's basically what it is, and he just sings Christmas carols. Whatever, I'm down. I'm always down for more of Alpha 5. The greatest robot. He's not great, but I love him. And also, just because that's a very short little special there, I'm also going to be watching one of my favorite trash Christmas specials, and that is We Wish You a Turtle's Christmas. One of the absolute worst things ever made, and I love it dearly, and I watch it every year. This could be horror on its own, because look at the way the turtles look. They have there's all of the artistry of the puppetry from those first two and even the third Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies have long passed, and now it is things of nightmares, and the songs are terrible. It's all awful, and I love it. Speaking of something I've never seen, but I'm pretty sure is gonna be some form of awful, this is Christmas in Connecticut from 1992, and you might wonder, why is this here? What prompted you to experience this particular movie? And I'll tell you, my friends, it's directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, yeah, that's all I need to know. A Christmas movie directed by Arnold, I'm there. I'm sure it's terrible. It sounds like it's a movie where like a celebrity chef and a local hero are like fake in a relationship, but one of them wants to be in a relationship and then they end up getting a relationship. I don't know. I'm just here to watch something weird and dumb that's directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And next up, Blue Christmas. We're nearing the end here. Blue Christmas is a Japanese movie from 1978. I don't know much about this. It's like some type of alien invasion-esque movie. It's supposed to be pretty depressing and is very influential in Japanese tokusatsu and is one of those movies that never really got a full translation here in North America. So I'm excited to watch it because I finally found a version with fan-made subtitles, and I've been looking forward to watching this for ages. So I'm finally going to be watching Blue Christmas. I will tell you what it's like when I watch it. And then I'm going to watch Saint from 2011, which I think is probably going to be terrible. It seems like some zombie Santa movie where a bunch of kids die. You know, this is... there's a special level of trash that is Christmas horror movies, and I'm delving into it, let me tell you. One that I don't think is going to be bad at all is A Christmas Tale, because this is directed by Parco Plaza, and this is the film he made before he made the classic movie Wreck. So Wreck is one of the best found footage movies ever made, an absolute classic of the genre. I love Wreck. So I'm really interested to watch this movie. It seems to be very weird and strange. It's like a bunch of kids find a woman dressed as Santa Claus stuck in a pipe in the middle of the woods, and madness ensues. I don't really know what's going on in this movie, but I'm going to be very excited to experience it nonetheless. So that is A Christmas Tale. And last but not least, this will be my Christmas movie, is Anna and the Apocalypse. Anna and the Apocalypse was, when I watched it when it came out in theaters, was one of my favorite movies ever. I cry, I laugh, I sing. I don't sing. Maybe I sing, but you'll never know. I will never record myself singing, that's for sure. This is a zombie Christmas musical. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely amazing. I know some people are kind of over zombies, but let me tell you, if you've never seen Anna and the Apocalypse, you're missing out. Anna and the Apocalypse is absolute classic material. I have not watched it since it came out in theaters, so I really hope it stands up, and I am really looking forward to watching that. So what are you guys watching for Christmas season? Are you watching good movies? Movies that make you feel good? Movies that you know will not be a waste of your time? If so, you're doing things differently than I am for a lot of this month. So kudos to you. So I hope you guys are having a good day, and let's get into December, folks.